I'm Roger from Evannex. In this video, we're going to be talking about the installation of one of our Evannex vinyl kits. We have vinyl kits that focus on both the exterior and interior of Model 3. Our intent, of course, is to allow you to improve the look of the car and make it your own. Before we begin our installation work, it's important that you have the household tools that you'll need to get the job done. We're going to do an install of the two-piece dash. The upside of a two-piece dash is it's simply easier to install. Alignment is somewhat easier and placement is easier. But we also have a one-piece dash. Installation is identical except that one long piece as opposed to two pieces are used. The downside of a two-piece dash is simply that there is a seam in the middle, but the seam is hardly noticeable and sits behind the display. It's not a bad idea to begin working on this project by cutting this particular piece in half so that in fact we have the driver's side and the passenger side separated. It's easier to work on this if part of the vinyl is covered by the backing. It just doesn't stick and makes things easier. We've now cut the half of the dash that is the driver's side. The way we can tell this is this small little slot on the bottom and these ridges up here. Each one of these has a purpose, and we'll see what they are as we begin to install. As we begin to install, there's a few things that we need to take a look at, but let's go over to the dashboard just to understand them. We're going to fold the dash piece over this ridge. That's really what this line here to this line here is. As we do that fold, we'll get very nice coverage along this side, which by the way isn't visible when the door is closed, but we still want to do a good job on it. As importantly, we have to be absolutely certain that the bottom side of the dash piece aligns perfectly with this ridge, the aluminum to dash ridge that runs the entire length of the dashboard. If this is off by even a little, alignment's going to be difficult. So let's begin our work. We begin by pulling only a small portion of the vinyl off the backing. And a good thing to do is simply to just grab a household scissors and cut the backing off, leaving the remainder on. Now we want to line up this ridge, and so the way to do that is we line here to the top and here to the bottom, but we also have to be sure that this ridge right here is properly aligned to the aluminum dash interface right here. You can see it. Now I'm going to push this down a bit, being absolutely sure that my alignment is right. I'm not pushing anything else down, just this. We'll move down a little bit further. Again, checking alignment as we go, because it is very, very important to have this thing aligned. Once we start that, we can strip the remainder of the backing off step by step to be sure that we have alignment across the entire aluminum trim piece and across the bottom of the dash. So we work like this to just very gently, you'll notice we're not pushing down too hard here. Now, that alignment looks good. See this? Everything here looks good. I'm just using my finger to kind of push things down on the dash, always working upward away from where I have smooth area toward the top. This part is going to roll over. We're not going to get there yet. Now let's come back over here, make sure our dash is set. This is, by the way, a very good place to use our squeegee just to kind of align everything, get everything set up nicely. All right, we're going to stop right here because once we have this set up, we're then going to come back to the end and work it. Then we'll finish up the rest of the dash piece. So we take this little extension and pull it over like that. That kind of seals it. Then we pull this part over like this, and we have, as you can see, a very nice, clean, finished edge right here. We then take this little nub right here and fold it over so that we have a finished look. We then smooth the dash with our hand, working downward as we go. And now we're going to add the rest of the dash piece before we roll this guy over to finish our installation. There are two ways to do this. You can work either from the other side or from here, but it is crucial that we make sure that we have alignment at the aluminum trim piece. You'll also notice that right behind the display there is no trim piece. You just run it along the bottom of the dash. You'll note that I caught a little piece of lint on here, so I'm removing it as we go. There we go. Now I have everything aligned along the bottom ridge, and I'm working upward to eliminate any air bubbles. There are no wrinkles, but we can certainly eliminate air bubbles. Going up, I'm going to take my squeegee and very gently work my way up, making sure that everything is clean. Now the next step is simply to roll over the edge. So I'm going to now roll over the edge right along the entire top of my dash. I have to be sure that that piece rolls over. This should in no way impede the flow of air, which controls your air conditioning and heating vents. You just roll it right over like this, making sure we get a nice tight fit. The driver's side dash piece is now installed. Note it is bubble and wrinkle free. Note that it aligns beautifully with the edge aluminum so that we have a straight cut. You'll note there is no edge aluminum, as I mentioned, behind the steering column. And also, very importantly, note that it wraps over in a way that does not impede airflow along the control path. You see the little spiked control elements? You can see them all. And